Like I'm saying, briefly introducing the presenter, who is by name Professor A.A. Maidebino, the son of the soil, from a community called Maidebino in Damusa local government area of Katsina State. His educational journey began with this close-knit community and evolved into an internationally recognized academic career marked by leadership, innovation, and scholarly excellence. Professor Maidebino joined the Diploma in Library Science, DLS program of Bayero University, Kano, from 1991 to 1993, and later for his BA Library Science and Sociology undergraduate program from 1993 to 1998. After he completed his NYSC in 1998 with the Nigerian Police Force Command, Benin City, Edo State, Professor Maidebino joined the service of Bayero University, Kano, as a graduate assistant in December 1999. He immediately there enrolled for a master's degree of library science at the same university, Bayero University, Kano. During the 2001 academic session, and completed the program successfully in 2002. He earned his PhD in Library and Information Science from the famous University of Malaysia. There 2007 to 2011, sponsored by MacArthur Foundation Fellowship through the management of Bayero University. This very brilliant academic Professor Maidebino rose through the academic ranks and was conferred with the title of Professor in October 2022. A recognition of this scholarly contribution and leadership role by the Governing Council of Bayero University, Kano. Time will not permit to say a lot about our guest speaker or presenter at this moment, Professor A.A. Maidebino. But I have the singular honor and privilege to put a force so that we have him stand on the podium to deliver what he knows better. The very distinguished personality to chair these presentations, the third and the fourth presentation to end the program is no other person than the President of the NLA. Please join me to welcome the President of the NLA, Chairman, moderating this presentation. I so also present the presenter of this paper. Before then, I know the chair will say a few words so that you give the presenter the go-ahead to do his presentation, but marking the time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Our capacity MC, is it MC or what is the role? In fact, you are doing it very well. Yes. If I have another program, I think I will have to fly you from Katsina to other places. So without wasting much of our time, I'm been asked to chair the third presentation and the fourth paper. I can see that the next paper is going to be delivered by my Oga. It's another privilege for me to introduce him and invite him to the podium to do justice to paper titled Indigenous Knowledge Curation as Strength of Public Libraries, to be presented by no any other person, our capacity University Librarian of Papua, Professor Abashe A. Maidebino. Please, sir, can you step forward? Can we welcome him with a round of applause? I wanted to give you only 10 minutes, but I will allow you to take us through by 15, maybe with additional few minutes if need be. So carry on, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, distinguished participants. Let me start by appreciating the organizers of this important conference for giving me this wonderful opportunity to serve as a resource person in this particular occasion. I would like to also acknowledge the presence of all the important dignitaries here present, in particular the National Librarian, in person of Professor Chinwe Anonibi, and the President of the NLA, the Chairman or Chair Lady of the NLA Katsina branch, and other important dignitaries and participants in this particular conference. It is really my honor to be a resource person today. The title of my paper is Indigenous Knowledge Curation as the Strengths of Public Libraries in Nigeria. And the paper is structured into a number of subheadings, including the abstract, the objectives of the paper, and the background and significance of the paper, as well as understanding the basic concepts of indigenous knowledge and indigenous knowledge curation. At the same time, the paper also identifies some important models as examples of model that has been operating in African soil on indigenous knowledge curation. At the same time, the paper proposed a conceptual framework for implementation of indigenous knowledge curation by state librarians and chairmen of public library boards. And the paper concludes with some concluding remarks on how to implement the framework. As we all know, indigenous knowledge system is rooted in oral traditions, cultural practices, and deep connections to land and community, which represent vital reservoirs of heritage and sustainability. Yet, these knowledge systems have often been marginalized within the mainstream information institutions. Public libraries as accessible and community-based spaces are uniquely positioned to serve as stewards of indigenous knowledge. This paper, therefore, explores the evolving role of public libraries in curating and promoting indigenous knowledge in respective and inclusive ways. The paper ultimately emphasized that indigenous knowledge curation is not only a means of preservation, but also a transformative strength for public libraries, thereby enhancing their social role, deepening community trust, and contributing to the practical indigenous knowledge curation models from the International Library of African Music model in South Africa to Asilia platform of National Museum of Kenya, Women's History Museum of Zambia, and to a curation model of public libraries in Kwara State, Nigeria. The paper concludes with a highlight of challenges and by proposing a conceptual framework for action which state librarians and chairmen of public library boards can implement with regard to the indigenous knowledge curation in the country. The idea is that public librarians or public libraries can curate indigenous knowledge in ways that are respectable, culturally aligned, and empowering the communities. The aim, which includes identifying models and proposing framework for evaluating institutional strategies and exploring best practices for proper implementation by public libraries in Nigeria. Just as we have seen, or we have listened to the actual lead paper presenter, there is need for innovation and inclusivity, as well as empowerment and partnership for librarians, public librarians in particular, to ensure proper implementation of practices of public library systems. And this partnership include the curation of indigenous knowledge that are traditionally oriented. As we all know, public library is a non-profit community-based institution that provides free access to books, information, digital resources, and learning opportunities to all members of public, regardless of age or background or socioeconomic status. The idea of public library is that there are libraries that are typically funded and managed by government or public authorities and are often to everyone without discrimination. They are usually called public universities or universities for all. The idea of public libraries started actually in the olden days or during colonial period, going by the historical antecedent of public libraries. In particular, the Lagos Library, which was established in 1932, that is the Tom Jones Library, the Lagos Library in 1910. However, the actual or significant development of public libraries only started after the UNESCO seminar of 1953, which provided for the expansion of public libraries in Africa. Consequently, from 1940s, rural library services of the public libraries included extension services to rural areas through mobile library services, book box services, and libraries on boots. In Nigeria, public libraries are known as state libraries with branches known as divisional libraries. They are usually managed by state library boards and run on daily basis by the Director of Library Services under Ministry of Information and Culture. In addition, state libraries, with the independence of 1960s, state libraries were founded, which further expanded the services of the public libraries. As we all know, the main purposes of public libraries in Nigeria is to provide facilities, resources, and services in a variety of media to meet the needs of individuals and groups for information, access, and development. In this regard, a number of scholars consider public libraries as ordinary man's schools, or a university of the people, and a library for all. They are agencies that promote education and eliminate illiteracy among the people by providing educational and socio-cultural and political information to people in a particular community. Hence, they perform a number of services to the users, some of which the roles of public libraries include free access, provision of free access to information, to promote literacy, support lifelong learning, community and cultural, to serve as community and cultural hub, and to provide digital resources, as well as encourage cultural diversity, support education, foster creativity, inclusivity, and empowerment, and indeed to serve as, or to help as indigenous knowledge curation. It is on this basis of the role of public libraries, or of the strengths of public libraries as indigenous knowledge curation, that this paper is addressed. But we need to understand the actual basics or concept of this indigenous knowledge. Indigenous knowledge refers to the deep understanding, skills, and philosophies developed by indigenous or indigenous people through centuries of interaction with their environment. And indeed, the concept of indigenous knowledge curation, has to do with the preservation and management of indigenous knowledge. This indigenous knowledge includes knowledge under the area of oral history and storytelling, traditional natural medicines, using plant, healthcare services, and agricultural and land management, land stewardship. Other indigenous knowledge areas include aspects of navigation techniques, weather focusing based on animal behavior and environmental indications, as well as conflict resolutions and community governance, which are part of the traditional systems of Nigerian communities. As an example of expanded indigenous knowledge curation, include the herbal medicine among the Igbo people, in a situation whereby they use roots, leaves, and barks for treating illness passed from traditional healers. We call it amfani da ganyaye da tushen itatuwa a matsayin magani a tsakankanin Igbo. In addition, there is the traditional architecture, the use of mud houses, or tsangaya houses in Katsina. That is to say, building homes with mud and local materials adapted to climate and culture. We call it gine-ginen gargajiya da aka yi da laka da zane-zanen gidaje. These are important traditional or indigenous knowledge that communities that lived centuries possess and which still can be included and curated in order to expand the public library services beyond the colonial form of educational systems. There is also the use of Hausa calendarical knowledge for farming. We call it Sifar Wata. As we all know, farming as a practice has its own season. And there are situations whereby traditional knowledge holders possess such kind of knowledge of evaluating the calendar for rain in order to ensure farmer activities, or farmers use moon phases and star patterns to plan farming seasons. We call it manoma suna amfani da zagayen wata da taurari don tsara lokacin noma. In addition, there is conflict resolutions as an example of indigenous knowledge in traditional societies, which include a situation whereby disputes are settled using dialogue by community elders and local justice systems. For example, in Katsina, there are instances whereby dispute resolutions or sulhus tsakanin mutane da ta hannun hakimai da dattawa na unguwa. Now, the issue of knowledge curation as a strength of public libraries revolves around how libraries collect, preserve, organize, and share indigenous knowledge. This type of knowledge that we mentioned. There are a number of models that exist across the world, which include International Library of African Music in South Africa. The focus of the model is that they ensure the collection, archiving, and studies of indigenous musical expressions, facilitating academic programs in ethnomusicology, and ensuring the community or continuity of oral and performance tradition. Another example is the public libraries in Kwara State model, which is an overview of how public libraries in Kwara State serve as a local, protuberances for capturing indigenous knowledge, through which they face limitations. Those they face limitation in scope and method, but they highlighted the importance of library community partnership to broaden and deepen indigenous knowledge curation. It is on these 4 models that this paper developed a proposed conceptual framework for implementation of indigenous knowledge curation by state librarians and chairmen of public libraries. The model believes that, or emphasizes that, for public libraries to expand their services, there is need for inclusivity, innovation, and partnership. And partnership in particular with the basis of partnering with indigenous knowledge holders. And in this case, indigenous knowledge curation in public libraries can take a form of, number 1, component of developing indigenous knowledge policy and securing funding strategies. Developing indigenous knowledge policies revolves around the regulations or the rules or regulations that will govern the practices of this indigenous knowledge curation. In addition, one of the components of the proposed framework suggests that there should be engagement practices in community-led partnership to identify the source of this particular indigenous knowledge. As we all know, there are a number of individuals that possess traditional knowledge. Some of these individuals are mobile libraries in nature. Mobile libraries in nature, or libraries without shelves. Libraries without shelves in the sense that they are reservoirs of knowledge. They know a lot in terms of indigenous knowledge curation or indigenous knowledge practices. And the idea is that if utilized effectively, public libraries and state librarians can tap from these indigenous knowledge holders and indeed use such knowledge to expand the library services provided by the public libraries. And additionally, the model proposed that the practices or the cultural protocols be respected. We know, as we all know, that there are certain individuals that possess a lot of knowledge, but due to certain cultural practices, reaching them or making them to share such knowledge means a lot. But by the time you come up with certain cultural practices, respect of cultural protocols, these people will be willing to cooperate with public libraries and share their indigenous knowledge. In addition, there should be training of librarians as indigenous knowledge curators. Some of us have been trained professionally as professional librarians, but you realize that there are certain need for training of current librarians, especially public librarians, so that they can be able to identify these sources of indigenous knowledge and then generate it and then curate it effectively. In addition, the use of low-cost technology or digital tools is also emphasized in this particular proposed conceptual framework. In addition, the paper encouraged public librarians to create safe and inclusive physical spaces for indigenous knowledge, where such kind of knowledge can be showcased. And they reform cataloging and classification system, as well as promote knowledge sharing among the public library staff. This will ensure effective indigenous knowledge curation, as depicted in the program. The component of this particular conceptual framework has been highlighted in details in the preceding sections. And finally, I want to emphasize that public librarians, for public libraries to actually make or aim at making indigenous knowledge a key strength, they have to determine or they have to face a number of complex challenges. And some of these challenges include the fact that indigenous knowledge is tacit in nature, to the extent that indigenous knowledge often exists in oral tradition or embedded in cultural practices, and therefore making documentation, translation, and contextual retention difficult. And at the same time, the paper highlighted some of these remedies or how to address the challenges. In conclusion, we have to realize that to reposition public libraries to become true custodians of indigenous knowledge, they must recognize and prioritize that wisdom is not only in books. Wisdom is not only in books, and often there are those physically and intellectually to the knowledge rooted in their own soil. They must ensure a paradigm shift to a model base of indigenous knowledge curation mechanism. By adopting and implementing the proposed model today, public libraries can be transformed into empowered stewards of cultural continuity. The future of public libraries lies not in mere repositories of Western-centric knowledge, but in shared living spaces where indigenous ways of knowing are recognized, valued, and integrated. At the same time, the aim is to provide insight to state librarians and board chairmen of public libraries and other stakeholders in Nigeria to ensure the implementation of indigenous knowledge curation practices in their libraries and beyond. Remember, a library that forgets its people's voice is a building silence. It's a building of silence. So let our public libraries speak the wisdom of our indigenous people. Thank you very much. Yes. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Oh, thank you very much. I think our professor deserves more than what we have given him. So please, can we give him another round of applause? I don't know what is the protocol here, but I think before we begin the interaction on the paper, I think I should remind some of us, because the paper is about indigenous knowledge curation as strength of public libraries. Whoever coined this topic, please deserve another round of applause. I don't know who actually coined the topic, but I actually want to give him kudos. My way of giving you a summary of what our professor just tried to educate us or remind us is that his catchy word is that wisdom is not only limited in our books. He has said it all. And from the title of the paper, you can see that the word as a strength of public libraries. Public libraries are community creation. It's created purposely for communities. No more, no less. So if you cannot populate or aggregate in the content of the public library, the culture of the people, then certainly you will not find anybody. So that is all the summary of what our professor is just reminding us. And interestingly, extensively, what are these IK? These are the daily interaction that we are doing from our own way of life. Things like our own values, our own normal, our own beliefs, and all the local innovations and technologies. All these constitute the body of indigenous knowledge. And in the paper, he said it is all about our cultural practices. So if that should be the case, as a public librarian within Katsina or in Owerri or in Enugu or in Kaduna, so that means the bulk of your information is surrounding the environment. So you have a duty now to go into curation. And the act of curation or the process involves collecting the IK. This is very, very important. One area that we have neglected, my NL, we have neglected this collection of IK, and I'm happy this one is coming at the right time. Many of our knowledgeable individuals within the community are going to the grave with their what? With their memory and knowledge. So it is our duty to identify them, just like we identify the type of text we buy. You identify, okay, in a village so are you, there is one 90-year-old man who is a blacksmith or who is a herbalist, traditional medicine. Even though they have this monopoly of knowledge transfer, but as a knowledge worker, you can be able to find a way to collect information from him, and he also mentioned the use of technology in collecting this data from this individual. And we have a way to preserve them even after the lifetime of the originator of the information. So, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen, it's a very important area that have been neglected over the years. So I'm not trying to write, I don't want to present another paper. So at this juncture, let me at least once again appreciate our professor for including the model. He introduced a model, which I believe, if we all look at that, is a way to go. Thank you very much, Professor Abashe A. Maitabino. Now, I think we should invite comments, question, and remark. Yes?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for giving me this opportunity. Let me start by appreciating the presenter for making a wonderful presentation. And then, Mr. Chair, I believe this is a call. This is a call to all librarians, and most specifically to our librarians in the public libraries, because we all need to understand that indigenous knowledge is now trending. And we seem not to be practicing the idea of preserving this indigenous knowledge, which if we don't do that, definitely this knowledge will be lost. And just like the previous presenter has earlier said, our great-grandfathers have a lot of knowledge that we're supposed to share. And they, at the end of the day, die with that knowledge. So it's really a good call for us all to find the various means of finding ways in which we could preserve this individual indigenous knowledge, so that people in future that are going to utilize the libraries can have access to this kind of relevant information. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yes?
Sorry, I'm Dr. Hindata Salisu Abubakar,
Yes.
the NLA chairperson, Katsina State Chapter. Thank you.
Yeah, please. Before you start talking, you introduce yourself.
My name is Muhammad Amin Anas. It's just an addition from what the presenter has just presented. We as librarians and information managers, in addition to going to the communities and getting this information, or rather knowledge, when we collaborate with the media houses, we realize that they are forming or they are recording a lot of interviews with these professional peoples, or some elderly people or statement people that are within the communities. When we take an example, if you take in the health sector, you find out that the media houses will find a veteran health provider within the community, even with the traditional medicines. They will have an interview, a lot of series of interviews from them. They will gather those informations, and those information will assist us in gathering this, their knowledges. Likewise, in every sector that we find out we want to get those informations, this will help us in getting the information and preserving them in the library. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, let's go to the same queue.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. Allowed me to stand on the already established protocol of the House. Prof, sir, I had you developing some models. I'm Ibrahim Haruna, Executive Director, Niger State Library Board, sir. As a trained librarian, sir, and coupled with the trends that already we have distanced ourselves from the community we are serving. Just that is the truth. How can we now go back as we are now being trained, go back to our various states, various communities, integrate and handle those distances that we have already created within the community. And secondly, and most importantly, this indigenous knowledge, despite their nature in that they are tacit, very hard to acquire, except with some modalities. Having acquired them, how can we win the heart of the community to say we have those knowledge and they are here for their disseminating, they are here for their immediate needs, most especially as you said in terms of medical aspect of life. Please, can you develop a model for us, sir, as a professor in the area? Thank you.
Okay, Prof, I think you have noted it. His is a question. Okay, I can remind you when we get to. Yes, Samaila.
My name is Samaila Adam Angani, the head of the Department Library Information Science at Katsina Polytechnic. Prof, thank you for your wonderful presentations. This reminds us librarians of, we can make it like a kind of clarion calls to all librarians to, stand and protect this indigenous knowledge, because there is a very, very important information that we can create out of this indigenous. I can remember, I have a colleague, we had our PhD in Uganda together. His thesis is on this indigenous knowledge, how to preserve indigenous knowledge in one of the indigenous tribe in Uganda. They call them Busoga. So his thesis is on that. So this, from this paper, I just make some like 5 or 6 ways that we can protect this indigenous knowledge. For example, by first of all raising awareness among us, the librarian, and the let's say the larger community, the awareness about this indigenous. Most of the people, they are not even aware of this, or they most especially the youth of today, or let's say the people of today, they are not even aware of this indigenous knowledge. It is our own duty to raise awareness on this indigenous knowledge. And number 2, like documentation. Part of this documentation, let's devote much of our time on this research, on this, indigenous knowledge. We conduct a research, we come out with it, then we document it and now make it available to the public. Then number 3, digitalization of this indigenous knowledge. Most of this indigenous knowledge is in oral form. Let's just collect it, more especially now that the world is going towards this digital era. Let's collect it, digitize them, and make it available to the public. And number 4, for example, even identifying the indigenous knowledge specialists. There are so many of them that are residing in our communities. We don't know them. They are there. They have. They are holding a vital information. More especially, for example, when you look at the area of herbal medicine, there are some diseases, very stubborn diseases that, they are saying they are terminal disease. When you have it, they say that you are no more. And those people with this knowledge, they use it in curing this disease, very stubborn disease. They have the knowledge, they have the information, but we don't know them. Let's just identify them. When we identify them, we can use them, and now what? Let's make it available to the public. Then number 5, like establishing value. Let's value it. Let's value the knowledge. Because we are seeing that, just forget about it. Let's value it. There is a lot of things that we can get from indigenous knowledge. Then number 6, capacity building among us, the librarians and the larger community. Let's have a capacity building so that we appreciate what God gives us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samaila. My prof, allow me to bring you do the capping for us. Yes, thank you. Okay. Another lady there. Any other person? I think that's the last. I can see you are raising your hand. Okay, the last speaker. Then we allow Prof to make a comment. Then you respond to the 2 questions raised. No, let one of the, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much once again for this opportunity to speak. I join the others to appreciate our Prof for a wonderful presentation. In the course of your presentation, I know I walked out to pick a call. I don't know if you tried to identify, because for a public librarian, generally for a librarian to be able to acquire and preserve, be it indigenous or any other information, there are skills that are expected of that librarian to be able to do that. I don't think you identify those skills, and they're very, very important. And from what every other person had said, that is why in my presentation I said that for us to really succeed as a librarian, let me not even be specific about being a public librarian, for us to really succeed in whatever you're doing as a librarian, custodian of knowledge, community engagement is very, very paramount, very key. Community engagement, particularly now in public library. So if we engage all these things we are saying, for you to be able to begin to gather indigenous, knowledge, if you don't engage, you will not be able to get it. And it is in the process of engaging that you begin to dig deep and dig out what is necessary. Why are we doing this? It's for preservation purposes. Let me not go into that details, because that is why I want him to give us the skills expected of a librarian to have to be able to do this. Because somebody asked a question that related to this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Then our NL.
Mr. Chairman and my president, this is just a tip of the iceberg. We brought this to the fore, and unfortunately, the people we wanted to speak to, many of them are not here. Like the title of the paper, Indigenous Knowledge Curation is the Strength of Public Libraries. When you look at public libraries, why are we really there? Is it to begin to chase the Europeans? I wish we have opportunity of moving beyond this climb. You see, in Australia, their people are interested in curating their knowledge. And one thing that pained me so much during a meeting is that the Library of Congress said that they want to begin to gather all knowledge from global, regional, sub-regional, national, all over the world. They want to curate it and keep it in the Library of Congress. And then tomorrow, we go there and begin cup in hand to beg from them. See, public librarians, we are happy that we have smart facilities now. Like she said, and the prof, I was very uncomfortable when you were dishing out theory. I said, no theories, not what we want. It's not what we want. What we want is, this is it. This is how you go about it and keep it. So, but you use theory as an academic, as a professor from the beginning, and you zeroed in as much as you use very strong language. But I thank God the president tried to download it to the level of the common man like me. So, now, he has given us what we need to do. And the president of, why I said is the tip of the iceberg. The National Library has started it, but the National Library cannot do it. The public libraries are our foot soldiers. And you have smart facilities, them on digress. Who is that has that tacit knowledge? Use your smart facility. Interview him. He'll be telling you stories. And when you come back, you begin to document You are playing and documenting. After documenting, you say from so and so, transcribed by you. You are the one that transcribed it, and it is from so and so, Alhaji or a man of this. You file. It is not for you. It is not for the present generation. It is for the future. Please, you have very limited roads now. Stop chasing the developed world, because they are trying to rob from you. Rob what you have. And you are chasing what is AI they are developing. What you need to do, how can I help people to read? How can I help literacy? How can I community engage? They told me, the Palestinians told me that they are going to Gaza. Librarians, so, to get their stories. It is not what the media is telling them. But they go and you are now a refugee from Gaza. Okay, tell us. What do you have to tell us about this war? Where are you? Where were you? And where did you come? All this. They documented it and kept it. And the Israelis said, you don't know where you are going. How can you go and take that story? Do you see? But they are getting the original thing. We want, unfortunately, the people we want to speak to are not here. So the president of the Nigerian Library Association, indigenous knowledge is our strength. I told the academic librarians, it's not only the public libraries. In their own academic library, there are indigenous knowledge surrounding them, which they need to cover. I rest my case.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was our national librarian. So the next is to allow the professor to respond.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I think the commentators were 5 or 6 in number, and out of which there were 2 questions. The remaining 3 were comments, actually. Comment by by Dr. Hindatu Salisu, and comment by Alaja Amin Anas, and that of the HOD, Library Information Science, HUK. But let me start with the questions, actually, especially that of Muhammad Ibrahim Haruna. Am I right? Yes, Ibrahim Haruna was of the opinion that they have distanced themselves as librarians from the community. And I want to believe so. And I think that is why the lead paper presenter emphasized the fact that librarians has to be very active, not passive. In the modern world today, you cannot just open a library and wait for your users to come for your services. You have to be very proactive to reach out to them. It is in this regard that you have to change your attitude as long as you want to delve into indigenous knowledge curation. You have to be very, very proactive in the sense that you have to go wide, to the wider society and identify these indigenous knowledge holders and engage them. The first rule is identification of the knowledge holders as well as community-led engagement. Once you identify them, there are so many ways through which you can engage them. Most importantly, you have to understand their culture. That's one basic skills that you need, as asked by my sister librarian there, who though I have not mentioned her name. So like I was saying, Alaja Haruna Ibrahim, you have to change your attitude. Do not just sit in the corridors of the library walls, but be very, 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 very proactive and go out. Even your users today, you realize that in a university library, you hardly see your users coming to use your resources, except when it is necessary, when they were given assignment or exam is very fast approaching, isn't it? But once you develop certain strategies and mechanisms of inviting them, you see them trooping actually in your library. So that is very important actually. And again, if you look at the component of the proposed framework number 2, it has stressed that effectively community-led engagement. My sister librarian asked about the skills of public librarians, or public librarians requires in order to engage into this indigenous knowledge curation. Like I said, you have to have a number of skills, which include community engagement. You cannot get this knowledge without reaching to the community, because these are indigenous knowledge people that possess this knowledge, and you have to engage them, isn't it? Engaging them may means a lot, depending on the cultural peculiarities in that particular area. For example, the way and manner you engage indigenous people in Katsina State culturally may be different from the way and manner you do that in the other part of the country or Nigeria. And again, for you to do that, you have to have what we call cultural competency, sensitivity, isn't it? And at the same time, you realize that there is need for you to have technological skills, because like we said, some of this knowledge belongs to individuals, and this knowledge is tacit in nature. You have to identify the owners, the source, and then get to the knowledge and record the knowledge, and then process the knowledge for effective dissemination and utilization. My prof, you mentioned the fact that I use theories and models, and that there should have been a situation whereby I go straight to the proposal of my paper. Okay. The model. Okay. Thank you very much for that comment. But the essence of utilizing those 4 models was to give a foundational framework on which I can base my proposed conceptual framework. In fact, that is the essence actually. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our professor, our guest lecturer for paper number, is it 3 or 4? 3. Number 3. You believe with me that it's a very interesting session. And then the last, one of the questions, I think the way the guy put it, one dangerous question that he raised, he said, how can we win the trust of the community? I summarize it in another way. I think the answer is here. If you look at the paper is trying to restore your dignity, restore your integrity, restore your confidence, and also project you in a higher level. So please, let's go back and give what the community wants. It's as simple as that. The paper is just reminding us to please stop giving people that are eating tuondawa, amala. It's as simple as that. Don't go to an Igbo land and you want to give them kuka. You know you are not going to get anybody. So thank you very much. I think I am still in charge.
Yes, you are still in charge.
Oh, you invited me again?
Yes. Thank you. Please, can we appreciate the chair and president of the NLA, the very capacity and indefatigable chairman of the session, Dr. Umar Lawal. Thank you for moderating the 3rd paper, and will be coming to moderate the 3rd paper. The first and last paper. The last paper is going to be presented by no other person than Dr. Hindatu Salisu Abubakar, who is currently the librarian of Katsina State Institute of Technology and Management. She is also a chairperson, Nigerian Library Association, Katsina State chapter, and a senior lecturer in the Department of Library and Information Science, Bayero University, Kano, my own alma mater. She is a certified librarian of Nigeria. She's a member of the Nigerian Library Association, a fellow of the Institute of Policy Management and Development, a fellow of the Corporate Administrative Institute. She holds a BSc, MLIS, and PhD in Library and Information Science. Dr. Hindatu Salisu is a distinguished academic, an administrator par excellence, and well known for her integrity, dedication, and commitment to librarianship. Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I present Dr. Hindatu Salisu before you. Probably you may say a word on this, our own presenter.
Thank you. The capacity MC as well. Let me return it to you. So, once again, I'm back with the last presentation for today, titled Literacy, Storytelling, and Reading for Empowerment and Inclusivity. In the past, when you mention storytelling as one area of specialization for librarians, somebody would look at you and say, what this guy is doing? You know, we are moving and we are growing. So even the IK, when you mention it in the past, somebody will tell you it's not your area. So I'm telling you, that's another interesting. If you are still not having a PhD or a master's, please take a title from this paper. So our lecturer or our speaker is Dr. Hindatu S. Abakar. I don't want to go into her CV. I all know that she is my chairperson of Nigerian Library Association, Katsina State Chapter. So you are welcome. You have 10 minutes or 15?
Only? Thank you so much. The Chief Executive Officer, the National Librarian, in person of Professor Chiwe Anunobi, the Executive Director, Katsina State Public Library Board, Chief Executive Officers also here present, cut across the 36 states, heads of libraries, our resource persons here present, participants, I greet you all in the name of Allah, the Beneficent and the Most Merciful. My name is Dr. Hindatu Salisu Abakar, and I'm here to give you a presentation on the title, Literacy, Storytelling, and Reading for Empowerment and Inclusivity. Now, looking at the outline of the presentation, can you take me through, please? Looking at the outline of the presentation, it had an abstract, an introduction, the benefits of literacy, promoting literacy and reading, the power of storytelling, leveraging technologies through digital initiatives, building partnerships and collaborations, measuring successes through evaluation and assessment, and then looking at the challenges, opportunities, conclusion, and then the recommendations. Now, starting with the abstract, the paper tries to highlight the importance of literacy, storytelling, and reading in empowering individuals and also in fostering inclusivity. It also outlines the practical strategies in which public libraries could use in promoting literacy and reading, including storytelling, book clubs, storytelling sessions, and digital initiatives. And this paper also emphasizes on the need for partnership and collaboration in order to support literacy and reading opportunities as well as initiatives. Now, starting with the introduction, we need to understand that literacy, storytelling, and also reading are essential tools for individual empowerment and inclusivity. Now, before I move on forward, I would like you to understand that literacy is all about you having the ability to read and write. And on the other way around, when you look at the issue of storytelling, it's just like a form of an art of sharing ideas and experiences that has to do with giving it in a form of narrative. While reading, on the other hand, is a form of understanding and interpreting a reading text. Then this shows that in as much as we are literate, we could be able to read. Because you can never read without you being illiterate. Definitely, if you are able to, if you are illiterate and you can be able to read, it's definitely going to enhance as well as ensure empowerment. And at the long run, this will enhance inclusivity, whereby everyone could be involved in whatever situation that is going to happen. Now, looking at it in this way, as well as in the educational development of every individual within the society. But these public libraries are the major factors of consideration here. When we take public libraries, we know that the public library is meant to serve the generality of people within the society without any discrimination. Then everyone or everyone's needs could be taken care of in the public libraries. Therefore, public libraries play a very significant role in promoting these values by providing access to various information resources and services that could cater for the needs of every individual within the society. Then we also need to understand the benefits of this literacy. Looking at the literacy, we need to understand that literacy enables individuals to be able to make informed decisions. Why? Because it will also enhance you to participate in civic activities. In as much as you are illiterate, you know you can be able to perform whatever task is being assigned to you. You can be able to make informed decisions because it is only when you are illiterate and you could read and understand what is there, you could be able to take decision as well as solve a particular problem that comes your way. Then definitely we believe that literacy plays a very significant role in ensuring economic empowerment and opportunities. And it also promotes social inclusion and also bridge the gaps between different communities as well as fosters a sense of belonging within ourselves. When we say fostering a sense of belonging, it's just like you having a feeling that yes, you are part and parcel of it. Then definitely you have that sense that yes, I am included, I am part of it, and I will definitely be part of the processes as well as the sustainability of whatever aspect you feel you could achieve. Then we need to also understand that the benefits of literacy includes a lot of things. It improves education and also improves our employment opportunities. Why? Because as long as you are illiterate and you can be able to read and also engage yourself into storytellings, then you know that you are trying to improve and enhance the power of education. Not only having the power of education, it's enhancing you having more employment opportunities because it's taking you away from sitting down and becoming depressed. Definitely, if you are illiterate, you will be able to enhance an empowerment within yourselves. It also helps you helps and enhances critical thinking as well as problem-solving opportunity. The moment you are illiterate, the moment you could read, definitely it's enabling you to think critically. This is what we are lacking nowadays. Our children are into the use of technologies, and at the end of the day, they don't usually have the practical thoughts. You just copy, paste, and then send. That is the back to sender. You are given an assignment, you pick it up, and then you send it back. But if, in as much as you're going to pick a book, read it, and understand it, you are having a critical thought of it. It's like you are chewing it. And at the end of the day, you are going to have a critical thought by giving positive responses that will help you in the critical development as well as your personal engagement. And at the end of the day, it's really going to solve your problems. It also fosters empathy and understanding. When we say fostering empathy and understanding, it's just like a form of sharing experiences and understanding what you are doing. Now, this is showing that if really we are literate, it helps us entirely by fostering education and enhancing empowerment, supporting personal and community development, and many other forms that you could think of, be it a personal development and educational, socially, morally, physically, or whatever development that you could think of. Another major aspect that we need to look at is the issue of promoting literacy and reading. Now, this shows that public libraries provide access to information resources and services. And these information resources and services that are being provided by these public libraries offer literacy programs and also serve as community hubs. How do these public libraries serve as community hubs to individuals within the society? By having book clubs and also reading groups for either children or adults. These are activities that are usually carried out in the public libraries. Why? Because even though nowadays it's an activity that has been neglected because so many people do not even engage in carrying out formal activities. Formerly, you usually have even adult classes in the public libraries, which has now been neglected, and we need, therefore, to bring it back to life so that we encourage the issue of promoting literacy within our public libraries. Now, storytelling session is also another aspect why the public library serves as community hub. Why are they hubs? Because usually the public libraries usually provide storytelling sessions and also authors' talks, whereby authors that are writing specific books usually come to the libraries to give talks on the books that they have written. This is also missing in our public libraries now. We need to bring this back to life so that our children and also adults could have access to these public libraries as well as share their stories by having the storytelling sessions. Digital literacy is also another hub in which we feel the public library serves as a community hub for us because it empowers our children now. You know, even becoming illiterate doesn't just stand physically. You could use modern technologies now to teach these people how to read and write. It's a form of formal education that could be done by the public libraries. Then digital literacy plays also a very significant role in ensuring that the public libraries serve as a community hub and will definitely help in empowering people so that people could also feel they are included within the society. It also enhances partnership with schools and community organizations. Why I'm saying this is because in as much as the public library is there, people from the school community could also come down to the public libraries and enjoy the services that are provided in these public libraries. Then how? Engaging this community. The various communities in which these public libraries are located could also be contacted so that they bring down people within their communities for them to have access and enjoy the services of public libraries is also another aspect in which we really need to look into. Now let's also look at the power of storytelling. As I earlier said, storytelling is all about having or sharing ideas in the form of narrative as well as experiences. Storytelling is going backwards. In fact, it has gone beyond what I cannot even say. It's giving a negative impact now. So far, so good. I would suggest that libraries should bring back the issue of storytelling back to life, please, because the issue of storytelling is a focal point that plays a very significant role, especially to our children, because a lot of things have been missing. One of the reasons or powers in which the storytelling helps in is the issue of preserving our cultural heritage. This is missing. Formerly, we have our grandparents giving us stories. And these stories tries to give us various aspects that has to do with our cultures, our norms, and values. And these are stories that gives us positive impact and makes us, that shapes the people that we are in now. In as much as we give this kind of stories to our children and they utilize the knowledge that have been acquired from the stories, I bet you they will succeed in life in as much as they apply it, because it tends to give positive voices. It tries to give stories that even at the beginning of if it's a drama, for example, a story is being given with bad impressions at the beginning. But at the end of the day, it gives people the impression that at the end of every struggle, positive outcome will definitely come in. And this is showing a kind and portraying a kind of character within our children. And this definitely helps in shaping and molding our children. It definitely needs to be brought back to the public libraries. It also fosters empathy and understanding, whereby anyone that comes to the library in order to have the storytelling, sharing experiences that have occurred within the society, it's definitely going to enhance the activities in the public libraries and also engage students, audiences, or whoever is going to be a patron or users of this public library. This definitely helps and enhances literacy. Same also, we need to also understand that these stories could be in different form. It could be in the oral form whereby you can sit down and give stories to people. It could also be in a written form whereby you could find them in the textbooks and the novels or whatever way possible. And you could also have them in the digital form. If you go online, you get different stories that you could adapt and use in order to get different experiences. We also need to understand that definitely we need to enhance literacy, storytelling, and also reading, because we are sure and confident that if really we adopt this, it will enhance and improve our empowerment. It will empower individuals as well as enhance inclusivity, or I say foster inclusivity, through leveraging technologies, through the use of digital initiatives. What we are saying here is that we need to engage children or adults that are coming to utilize the services of the public libraries through digital training for adults and children, having a kind of e-book collections whereby these children or users of this public library could have access to online e-resources that are found in the libraries or on the social media also. All these are done in the form of digital media resources so that people, children entirely, could have access to information. We also need to understand that building partnership and collaboration plays a very significant role. Building partnership and collaboration plays a very significant role in empowering individuals and as well as fostering inclusivity within the society, because this is in line with the United Nations 2015 Public Libraries Goals. That is Goal 17 of the Global Sustainable Development Initiative, which shows that we need to collaborate with schools and educational institutions. What we are saying is public libraries alone cannot do what we want them to do. Definitely it has to engage into partnership as well as collaborations. And how do we do this? The children that are supposed to be in the library are found in schools. The children that are supposed to be in the library are found in our community and are also found in other educational institutions. Then definitely, if really we want to provide effective public library services, and if definitely we really want to improve in our literacy as well as reading purposes, definitely we need to collaborate with the schools and also institutions that will enhance the effective library services. We also need to partner with community organizations and also literacy groups, because there are a lot of professional bodies that has to do with literacy. Partnering with them will play a very significant role so that it will enhance effective and efficient library services. So in general, we know that we really need to seek for funds from different agencies so that we could run whatever program we want to run, be it a literacy program, be it a storytelling session, be it a reading session, whatever program or activity you're going to design, definitely we know that we need funds. And these funds cannot just be provided by public library without having partnership and collaboration with each other. How could you seek for these funds? From partnership and collaboration from so many instances. It could be in the form of the government, private sector, or whatever literacy programs or associations that could help you. You also need to network with libraries and also professional bodies to make it more effective and productive. Another major aspect that we need to look into is the issue of measuring success, evaluation, and also assessment. What I'm trying to show here is whatever program you do or whatever program the public library engages in, definitely it could not be ensured or sustained except and only if we are able to assess the performances. And how can you assess these performances? It's only if you could get feedbacks. Getting feedback, please. Do not carry out a program without you assessing those programs. If you get responses from people through different ways, it could be in the form of interview, it could be in the form of observation, it could be in the form of even online processes that you could follow just to get information with regards to or getting feedback or responses with regards to the programs you have gotten. Definitely, I bet you, this will definitely help you in a continuous improvement and assessment of your program. And if you're able to identify the strengths and weaknesses of this program, definitely you find an excellent means of moving forward for the sustainable development of this program. However, despite the fact that the public libraries have been playing a significant role in order to ensure that literacy, storytelling, and reading are being enhanced, and also helps in empowering individuals as well as fostering inclusivity within the society, it is still faced with some challenges. And these challenges are nothing less than, one, the issue of inadequate funding, which is stopping a lot of activities from holding. We also have the issue of digital divides, whereby people are even, some people are even technophobia. I'm rounding up. Infrastructural facilities are some of the problems, power supply, and many other challenges that you could think of could help. But however, despite the challenges, there are still a lot of opportunities, which we need to include the issue of digital literacy. We need to engage community, that is community engagement, so that public libraries can engage with local communities to promote literacy and also reading initiatives. Partnerships also plays a very significant role. And then conclusively, I would like to say that public libraries can make a tangible difference in promoting literacy, storytelling, and reading through practical initiatives and partnerships. And this is possible by developing and implementing practical innovative strategies and that contributes to the development of the society. However, partnership and collaborations are essential tools that could support literacy and early learning. I therefore recommend that, one, we need to foster partnership between schools and communities, as well as organizations, to promote literacy and reading. We also need to provide continuous professional development, whereby librarians need to engage into training and retraining for their Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah. I think I'm happy that I stay back. You know how I became this chairman of the session is by the power of coercion from the National Librarian, and I am not regretting it. Wow. These ladies are very much, they are wonderful. What? It's not because of time. I won't stop her because the lecture is sweet. Yeah. Please, can we give her another round of applause? My chair lady, you really made me proud. This is my first impression. I just witnessed this lecture. What? NL, let me congratulate you for the way and manner you pick your resource persons. They are really attractive. They are really very inviting, and you can see that the last speaker, Professor, was fantastic. Then she's not a professor, so we can say super fantastic. So thank you very much. I think there is no any question because she has actually go straight to the point. Okay. So let me allow, I don't need to even give the recap because it's still very alive in our memory. But very important question I have, or omission, I just wanted to observe. Assuming now we are trying to inculcate this idea into our public librarians as part of another strategy to earn trust, to bring back your users, how do you set up a storytelling session in your library? This is a practical question. Before the other people ask questions, my dear, you should get yourself prepared to answer the chairman's question. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, Martina.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I'm so much into community engagement. That's why, at every presentation, I always have something to talk about.
Do you have the permission of the chairman to come to the front?
Yes, sir. Permission, sir.
Yes, you need to ask.
Okay. Going straight to the point, I sincerely appreciate my fellow woman for a wonderful presentation. That's a very good one. And she has said a lot in her paper, very rich. But like my prof will always say, I think we just want it practical. You know, we speak a lot of English. We go to school now. But I want to reference to what happened to me on Friday. I was coming back, sorry for the time. I was coming back from the office and I entered my street and children were pursuing me. Storybook. I was so embarrassed. And they all were collecting baby. I said, what is it? He said, Mommy, we are on holiday. You have not called us for story, for teaching. I said, God, I've actually been down. I even wrote my paper while on sick bed. And I don't have that strength. No. I don't have that strength. Every holiday, I organize boot camp, but this time, due to health issue. And I told them, I said, okay, I'll bring storybook. I went to the office on Saturday, went through my collections from my publishers. I picked storybook. Immediately, they cited me. They started following me. Storybook. Why is it so? Every holiday, apart from the one I do in the office, every Saturday, I gather them under a tree. In my new place, it's like a community, but that's my personal house. I gather them under a tree, and we read aloud. I have a board. I have a boy that goes to government school, stopped. And when I tried to find out, in the course of that thing I was doing, said the parents stopped him. Why? They say, is it 5,000 or 6,000? They stopped the boy from going to school. I said, okay, I will be paying. That boy then cannot read nor write, but the boy can read and write now. And the parents are ever grateful till tomorrow. And they were like, Igbo, Hausa. I said, it doesn't matter. We don't discriminate. We are librarians. So what am I saying? The storytelling issue. The key presenter said, until we change our mindset, I as a public librarian, until I change my mindset, until I understand who I am, until I understand expectations of people of being a librarian, I cannot do it. I can only come and be speaking grammar. I cannot be able to do it. But once I know who I am, my expectation, I'm talking about community. The community now is not library board. This is National Library. This is library board. We are talking about community that does not even know there is a headquarters of Katsina Library Board that exists. Take these things, go into that community that do not even know there is anything called library. You can do that in the library in the town, the headquarters. But in that community, that is where all these problems are emanating from. Take these things to them. Sit together with these children, as many as you can gather. They will be what? Your advocates. They will begin to take whatever you have given to them to share with other children. We were given a story. What story are you giving them? Story about an individual, a personality, somebody who the situation of his family never, brought down. Rather, never mind. Somebody who is from the lowest part of a family, but is a doctor. Why? Determination, consistency, and being focused. These are things you bring down storytelling that can motivate and ginger the children. And by the time you station somebody that can read and learn, you just buy a board and a marker. Please, you can read every Saturday, even if I'm not there. A, B, C. Before you know it, they have picked up. So we want this thing practical. Please, librarian, it's not sitting in the office and answering position. We are talking about practical. If you read the letters, we are saying practical presentations. Enough of speaking grammar we do in the city, in the town. We are talking about rural, those who cannot come out. And those are the people that people are using as so many negative things. So let us take it to them. I have an account, I'm not going to mention a name. A typical village, in the course of my invitation, come and do this, come and do that. And I went to a community so-called library. And I engaged. The person cannot speak English. Sorry. And it is expected that you should be able to even speak pidgin. I beg, how this place be? He cannot respond. People, they come, he cannot respond. So it's a challenge. Most of our public librarians in the rural community, they have this communication challenge. They have, when you are saying partner, 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 how will you partner when you cannot speak? How will you partner when you cannot write? So for you to write for partnership, it involves some critical thinking. You need skills. So we are talking of practical. Let's all that we have learned here, please, let's take it home. So that when you get back home, you can begin to be a new person. Thank
Dr.
you.
Martina, thank you very much for that second paper. Yes, second paper. Thank you very much, MC, for bringing this one to me.
Afternoon once again, I'm Samaila Damudangani from Hassan Usman Katsina Polytechnic. Mine is just a kind of question regarding this issue of literacy, reading, and storytelling. And when you are talking of this literacy, I know literacy and reading and even this storytelling, they are going in hand with reading culture. Because we can't do without them. And now that, for example, this issue of reading culture, it begins to fade out. So I expect you, despite being or making a very good presentations, part of the challenges, this issue of reading culture. Because even the storytelling we are talking about, for example, it could be given to the children orally, or let's say a written. Let them read it at their own, let's say, recreational time, for example. Then, but that reading culture is not there now. How can we bring that reading culture back into our professions or libraries, public library? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next? Nobody. I'm going to take down his question, but okay. Thank you very much. This question, if I'm correct, how do we bring back the reading culture to improve the storytelling? Okay. Let me allow you to respond before I...
Thank you so much, my chair. Dr. Dangani, you were asking of how we could bring back reading culture so that we could foster storytelling, the issue of literacy, and then reading. Well, as we earlier said, it's all about the issue of mindset. In as much as you're going to give someone what he or she needs, definitely you achieve what you want to achieve. Whatever you want to achieve is all about determination and interests. If really you are interested in this, you go for it. Try if they are, it depends on the category of people that you are targeting. Now, let's take children, for example. You really want to revive the culture of children to read. How could you bring that back to them? Try as much as you could to have an assessment of their needs. Need assessment, that is users' need, is very important. This will help you know what they are interested in. The more they are interested in a particular book, they could give you a title or a particular subject area. And once you give them what they want, definitely it will entice their minds. And by the time you allow them to read what they want, they are happy with that. This is a roadmap. It's like you're setting a road for them to come back to it. Now, if they really come to the library and you give them the services they want, how could it be better? If they are children, your sweets and biscuits also helps out. The little motivational things that you could give to them, if they are children, and children are very sensitive. Whatever little thing you feel you could give to them and will make them happy emotionally, it's really going to improve their knowledge. And tomorrow, I bet you they will come back to your library. In fact, even the library aesthetics is something that entices some of the children to come to the library. The pictures on the walls in the library. I know a lot of children that the designs, the colors, the maps, and so many things on the walls of the library brings them to the library. Give children what they want, what they are interested in. Give them reward on what they are doing. It will definitely encourage them. And don't forget, this shouldn't remain in the library alone. We need to reach out to these children. We could meet them out in the libraries. We could meet them out in the schools. We could meet them also in our communities. Using even our traditional leaders could help. You could tell them, just like the first question Dr. Yu Lawal asked, on strengthening the storytelling session. You could establish it within the community by going to our traditional rulers and telling them that is like creating a form of awareness that these are the kinds of activities that you carry out in the libraries. And if really these people cannot come down to the libraries, you will definitely bring your services to the people within the community. That is the underserved privileges, like the disabled people. You could reach them anywhere, because when you look at the title, it's all about inclusivity, where everyone is expected to be included for individual empowerment. Then I bet you, Dr. Dangani, in as much as you're going to give the children the kinds of resources and services they need, and you are up and doing, giving them reward in terms of what they do, you will definitely get the services better. Same also, you could also engage them in a form of different activities. When they read, you have different competitions within themselves, no matter how many the numbers are. Be it in the form of competition, it could be a quiz competition, it could be a spelling bee, it could be a dictation, and give them awards for that participation. Tomorrow, I tell you, they will still come back to your library just to compete and get it right. Thank you so much.
If you allow her, she will present the second paper. Yes, you see, interestingly, these are some of the very important areas that we should be exploring. Sincerely speaking, I don't want us to be limiting these areas to only public librarians. Yes, I don't think storytelling is only essential or joyful for the children. Even to us, we can sit down and enjoy a very crafty and very intelligent and motivating story session. So I'm saying that we should look forward to entrenching it in all places, all opportunities that we have gotten. So thank you very much, Dr. Hindetu, for clearing my doubt this evening. And I'm highly impressed, and I'm very proud of your presentation. So what next? Here we are. We reached the end of the second paper and the discussion. Don't mind my sister there. She is into community engagement, so she wanted to represent another storytelling for us. So thank you very much. I want to hand over the mic to the MC, and I sincerely appreciate the responsibility. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, the President of the NLA and Chair of the two papers that have just been presented, Dr. Umar Lawal. Can we give him a bigger round of applause, please, to appreciate him for very excellent moderating of these presentations. The CEO and National Librarian, today we have 4 presentations. 2 was presented while we are absent at the Government House to see His Excellency the Governor. And the last 2, you are present when this presentation was made. Indeed, the 2 first one and this second one are all excellent presentations. And I think a communique group has been drafted, and I think they are working on the 4 presentations, which we expect tomorrow. When we look at the program, there is a space where we expect to have the communique of all the conference and papers presentations. So on this note, we have taken much time since morning 9 o'clock, clocking to 6. And I think our machines, the media machines are taking hotter and hotter. They may cease off because this kind of event has never been done from morning till down. All the same, we have to appreciate them. Can we give them a bigger round of applause? We are coming to the end. There is somebody to give the closing remarks of today's sessions. And tomorrow is going to be a business session. Tomorrow's session, business session, is commencing 9 a.m. dot. So all participant librarians that are available for this conference, please respect the time so that all the activities lined up in the business session will be able to be concluded on time. Go and rest. Probably if there is anything to go about for a sightseeing in the town or in the ancient city of Daura, we can be able to do that. And at this juncture, I have to appreciate all of us that are here, and including myself. Already I have been appreciated, and I thank for that remarks. I want to invite Madam to give a closing remarks to end today's activity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. The National Librarian, dear participants, I stand on the existing protocol. I believe that we have had a wonderful and a memorable day today. In fact, today is extraordinary. I've never seen such before. So on this note, I would like to thank Katsina State Government for their massive support. In fact, we have never seen so. We have done this program for several years, but this one is exceptional. Thank you, Katsina State Government. So on this note, the presenters, I also appreciate you all. All your papers are so insightful. You know, you gave us valuable insights. We learned much, we are still learning. And I believe that at the end of the day, we all will go back and look outside the box and put all this we learned today into practical, you know, put into practice, not just saying. We need practicals, you know, practicalize it, reach out, make impact, be visible. Let people see you. Let people see what you are doing. And the government will come in when we advocate, because if you don't have any to show for what you learned, the government cannot come in. When you lobby, you won't get anything. On that note, I say thank you all the participants from far and wide. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything, for your time, for your contributions. They are all wonderful. I say thank you to all the participants here. On that note, I want to close today's, but I want to say thank you. By tomorrow, by God's grace, we are going to meet again by 9 o'clock. The state librarians are going to give us their reports. It's unfortunate that most of them are not here, maybe because of lack of money. What we have been saying, the government is not able to sponsor them. We bear with you. So I pray that by God's grace, God will keep us. By tomorrow, we commune here again, we convene here again. And by tomorrow, we are going to add more to the knowledge we acquired today. And at the end of the day, we have something take home, have key take homes to go back to show to our communities. On that note, I say thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we call it a day? We wish you safe journey back to our respective hotels and places that you are going to sleep. Thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Just keep me awake, don't cut me down, throw me